everyone. It's my prayer that you're all well, that God has been good to you, that you remain expectant even as we've come by His grace 18 days of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. I just love God. I thank Him for His strength. I thank Him for His grace. Truly, He is faithful. He is just so loving. Today, we're dealing with the company you keep. As a builder, you must be conscious and aware about the company you keep. The company you keep, right? Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates upon that law day and night. For then he shall be like a tree planted by streams of water, producing fruit in season." Some versions say producing fruit all season, whether it's dry, whether it's wet, whether it's winter, whether it's autumn, whether it's summer, whether it's spring. You're not dependent on these external factors. Your life, your destiny, your vision, your work, your business, your family, your community, your nation produces fruit all through. Okay. Now, the company you keep, and we're looking at these sessions of preparation in the context of the season's theme, which is the year of building. And remember, God is not restricted by calendar year, okay? We're talking in the context of a season, because our vision, some of them transcend centuries. We're going to lay the ground, we're going to plant, we're going to build, we're going to execute, we're going to implement, and we will leave that into perpetuity, into posterity, So yeah. So even as we move forward, the company we keep will influence greatly that fruit. That fruit. See, someone says, "But rather be the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates upon it day and night. He shall be like a tree that's planted by streams of water, producing fruit in all season." Through seasons, in every season. The versions of the Bible vary a little bit on that, but the message is one. The type of company that you keep is completely going to be an input. It's completely going to influence. It's going to completely affect and impact and impart your work. There's impartation that takes place. That's why when you sit in the company of mockers, people are mocking everything. People made a living out of mockery. They mock people, they mock God in your life, they mock the vision that you're carrying. They ask you questions. Yes, you laugh, but you continue to keep their company. It's only a matter of time, even if you're so strong, that you also begin to mock your own vision. You begin to doubt your own vision. And by extension, you doubt God, who has called you to that vision, who has given that vision. Because mockers normally challenge, sometimes even sarcastically, the things that are going on. Mockers, their objective is to pull down, to distract, to destroy, to cause people to abort, to cause people to miscarry, to cause people to just, with their own two hands, destroy the very things they're supposed to work on. So if you have people whom, yes, you really, really like, they have one side of them that's really nice, they're funny, or maybe they have a gift that you really enjoy engaging with, maybe they're intellectual also, But then on the other side, they carry a big seed of mockery. So you're basically trying to settle for being with them, keeping them in your company. But this big seed of mockery can destroy you. Remember, we're being called to build, and the patterns and plans and blueprints that God is giving to us uniquely and individually. Some of those things eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. Some of those ways have never been tested or tried before. Some people are going to do what looks like normal, but in a new way. Some people are bringing a whole new innovation, a whole new way. And there are people who can't see what you see because they were not with you when God was calling you, when God was giving you instructions, when God was downloading to you what he wants of you and what he's giving you to go with. So because they can't see and they have no understanding, their job is to mock. The people who mock innocently because they just are limited on their human understanding and logic based on the systems and the patterns of the world. So that's just who they are. It's not even personal. So they will mock you. They'll be like, you must be crazy. You have nothing better to do than just try this crazy thing. Be serious. Be serious. But then there's another group of mockers who have malice, who have envy and jealousy. They cannot want anyone to move forward and they're out to bring you down and they will mock you. So you've got to be sensitive on the company that you choose to keep. You may think you're strong. You may think you're connected. You may think that, I can overcome. There are people who carry that grace. But I will not want you to test it. Because before long, the people that you hang out with are the people you become. The narratives that go on are the narratives you begin to have subconsciously and consciously. This is called subliminal. They enter into your brain, into your thoughts, into your subconscious, very subliminally. You don't even notice when they're getting in. And that is how you see the people who hang out a lot together, they even pick each other's language, they pick each other's mannerisms, they pick each other's thinking and perspective. That's why you must really be careful. And you'll never know when these things are creeping in because you always feel you're in control of yourself, spiritually and physically. But before long, you're talking like somebody else, you're behaving, you're thinking like somebody else, you're taking decisions, or they have installed fear into you, they have installed doubt into you, they've installed certain vices that are just not you, but they become normal to you. And before long, with your own two hands, you begin to destroy your vision. In fact, I'm so glad that God has given us time to pull back in his presence, to just prepare, because as we're drawing out our plans, as we're laying down our spiritual and physical plans to go out, we need to be able to look through every dimension across the board. We look at ourselves, we look at our environment, we look at the tooling, the weapons that we have physically and spiritually. We look at our competencies. We look at our spiritual postures. We look at our mindset. We look at faith. We look at all these dimensions we've been doing. But also we look at the people who we are working with. Amos 3:3 says, two cannot work together unless they agree, which implies that you cannot say you're working together. Yet in reality, you're not the same. You're not the same. Your value system is different. Your perspectives are different. Your spiritual, inclinations and posture is different. Your attitudes towards things are different. One is so pessimistic, one is optimistic. What is the end result? You put optimistic and pessimistic together, working together daily. What is the end result? Answer that for yourself, Just begin to imagine and picture what that would look like, right? So the company that you keep is so important because you enter into a soul tie. You enter into an unconscious covenant because partnerships, people that you become your inner circle are people who you end up connecting spiritually and physically. And there's an effect that goes in and out. The enemy can use people who work with you to attack you because they are open doors and they have postures that the enemy can use to put in things that he wants to put into your vision that are not of God. The enemy can use those who are around you. They just have to cause you to agree with them. This thing is useless. Or, this is crazy. When you agree, I think this is crazy. For sure. You see, you've come into agreement. And then the enemy uses that gap. He uses that door to attack. So you're wondering, why is my vision not going? This is a year of building. God said he's empowering us. He said he's already released us into abundance. He's already resourced it. There's ease and flow. But why am I experiencing hardship, difficulty? Some things are not God's fault. Some things it's a posture that we take, the things that we're doing, the company that we are keeping. Because once we're connected to people, they become gates in our lives. That's why you have to be so careful about the kind of people you're allowing to be around you, to be in your inner circle, to be in your space. The people you work with, yeah, not everybody is of your inclination. Not everybody comes from the same tree that you come from. Not everybody is the same as you, because we're in the world, but we're not of the world. And we can't just segregate ourselves in a way that we will only work with people who are like us, who speak and think like us. But with that awareness, you decide where in the circle of your life they belong. There are different circles of your life. The outer circles, there's the bigger circle that, there's perimeter walls that they never even come into a place of your life. Then there are inner circles. Then there is a closed circle. Understand? So you determine where people are, where they fit in the area and dimension of your vision and of your calling. So that, you have already reinforced and ring-fenced the space and the area of your inner circle, where the attack can be most brutal or most compromised or will have a lot of impact. And by the way, this is both positive and negative. Okay, so when we look at this influence, this inner circle, the company we keep, right? This company we keep can enable us, can empower us, can propel us, can help to be a sound sounding board, can help to give wise counsel, can check you when you're losing your path. They bring accountability. They remind you of that dream and passion you had when you want to give up. The people who you say, this thing is not working, I just want to throw in the towel. What's the point? Because we all get to that point at some point in our journeys, right? But depending on the company you keep, you have a voice that says from that lot that you're keeping, that no, so-and-so, do you remember? Remember when you began this dream? You remember the passion you had? Do you remember the reason that God gave you concerning this vision and why this vision is important? Can you imagine if you throw in the towel? These millions of people or your family, imagine you're the person in the family who's bringing light in this season. Now, if you throw in the towel, your family will just go into darkness, I mean, remember, yes, it may seem hard now, but you are called to be light there. Just because of you, your family is still standing, even as God is waiting to deliver them, as God is waiting to save them, as God is waiting to empower them, as God is waiting to restore them. Take your position. Imagine if you just drop your position, your family is finished. Those are the kind of company you need to keep. Not the people who say you're throwing the towel, they say, it took you so long to get there. We've been waiting. In fact, we've been just pitying you and wondering, why are you grinding? Why are you grinding on this path that doesn't seem to be moving? How we've waited. Now, finally, you've seen the light, man. Drop that thing. In fact, I have an assignment for you. They even start to give you assignments that are taking you way away from the call of God. So interrogate your inner circle, the company you keep, and interrogate it now at different levels. At the inner circle, the immediate outer, there's a nuclear circle. Then there are those other circles that come, and the kind of people that you work with, you may not be able to control that, but at least have a template, of vision and mission and values, that all those who join your vision, however wide and whatever backgrounds they have, they can conform to at least on the bare minimum. Because then that gives a level of alignment into deployment of vision, right? So let us look at it in this way. Let us focus and trust the Lord to guide us, to lead us, to direct us, to give us discernment, to give us wisdom, right? And also to give us the grace. There are some people you really like, you really love. They're so fun. They make your heart warm. However, they carry certain attributes that may not necessarily be healthy for your vision. And sometimes these things may not necessarily be bad, but maybe there are people who just can't keep secrets. There may be people who talk to a lot of people, And so the things that you're planning in that inner space, the things that you're trying to do, before you know it, they've not even seen the light of day, it's already out, you know? So you really have to choose wisely. The company you keep is very critical to the kind of fruit you produce. Let us also look at an example that I find very interesting. Let's open Luke chapter 8, and we can read from 49 to 56, right? This is the story of Jairus, yeah? This one leader who existed in Israel, you know? He was called Jairus. He had a sick daughter. And he was, of course, as any parent would be, very disturbed, right? And he was looking for help for this daughter. Naturally, he had people around him. Yeah, he had people around him. Okay, so let us read. All right, let's look at right. Jesus was out in his usual business, talking to people, healing the sick, you know, and all that. And then from verse 49, it says, while Jesus was still speaking to her, the lady had just healed, the one he had said, your faith has made you well, go in peace. The one who had touched her, okay, touched his hem, sorry. The lady who had touched his hem, the hem of his garment, and had got healed. He had just finished dealing with her. And while he was still speaking to her, a messenger arrived from the home of Jairus, the leader of the synagogue. Okay, this is a spiritual leader. Okay, and he told him, your daughter is dead. There's no use troubling the teacher now. Okay, right? So these are people telling him. But when Jesus heard what had happened, he said to Jairus, don't be afraid. Just have faith and she will be healed. Okay. In this particular instance, in the context of the company you keep, all right, I want us to see Jesus in two dimensions. Jesus, the Savior, the healer, God in the flesh, and the second dimension of one of the people who is giving wise counsel to Jairus, okay? So one of the people tells Jairus, your daughter is dead. Stop troubling Jesus now. Don't trouble the teacher. He has better things to do, right? Is it a reality? Who knows? But when you read further, you realize she was not dead by the time Jairus was coming, even though later, yeah, you know, her health went downwards for the worse. But Jesus speaks to him and says, don't be afraid, Jairus. Just have faith and she will be healed. When they arrived at the house, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, James, and the little girl's father and mother. Right? Even Jesus knows the people around him. He has understood his circles. He understands who are these people in the inner circle, the ones when I'm doing this crazy thing with, the ones who are aligned. They are totally in agreement with me in spirit and in the physical. People who get me, people won't challenge me, people won't conflict in spirit with me and start, you know, I normally like joking and saying, throwing crosswinds. You know, when winds are crossing, you know, you don't have flow, right? So he chose, he said, when they arrived, Jesus wouldn't let anyone go in with him. You know, he used to walk in with crowds, and we all know he had 12 disciples, but it said, except Peter, John, James, 3, and the little girl's father and mother, which means even that crowd of Jairus's friends who were inside there, even one of the ones who said, why are you bothering the teacher? The girl is dead, right? Jesus left all those outside. The house was filled with people weeping and wailing, but he said, stop the weeping. She isn't dead, she's only asleep. But the crowd laughed at him because they all knew she had died, right? Sometimes you have people telling you, come on, this vision of yours, till how long are you doing it? By now, it's been 6 years. Smell the coffee, it's dead. You can't see. And the rest join and say, and they laugh. And they say, yeah, she can't see. He can't see. For how long are you going to go for political office? Every time you have run, you lose, you lose, you lose. I mean, right now you should understand you're not called into politics. In fact, the last we checked, when you are still in doing business, you are really thriving. Why don't you just go back to it? And people laugh and they're mocking, the mockers. They laugh. It's saying here, imagine the crowd laughed at Jesus. Do you know how insensitive this crowd is inside? This is the crowd that is inside the house. Because it says the house was filled with people weeping and wailing. These people were weeping and wailing for this dead. Yeah, when Jesus has come, he's the solution. He says, stop the weeping. She isn't dead, she's only asleep. It says they laughed at him because they all knew she had died. Imagine how Jairus was feeling. These are supposedly, if you're in Jairus' house, you're either Jairus' relative, you're Jairus' friend, or you're one of his colleagues from the synagogue. And all of you are laughing and saying, Jairus, even this guy you've come with, you're all jokers. The girl is dead. Let's move on to burial rites, right? Then Jesus took her by the hand and said in a loud voice, my child, get up. And that moment, her life returned and she immediately stood up. Then Jesus told them to give her something to eat. Her parents were overwhelmed, but Jesus insisted that they not tell anybody, right? Now, why am I talking about the company you keep? You also have to start to separate the various relationships that are in your life, okay? And decide who are the inner circle, who are the immediate next, then who are in that outer circle. And all these circles are okay. They're all healthy and they all have a role, but they help you to manage the different dimensions of your call. And now when things need to flow, you know which circle to plug in, at which dimension you're operating, okay? Determines who's there. Jesus knew that this particular assignment required a lot of faith and absolute agreement. So Peter, John, and James were the ones, okay? They were the ones. However, he said, let everybody step aside. Even though they mocked and everything, it didn't matter. While maybe in this particular case, it's not recorded that he told them to leave the house, even though they laughed and mocked him, okay? It means that to Jesus, the only thing that mattered for him to deliver that assignment was to be in agreement with the people who were from his circle, his own company, are the ones that needed to be in agreement with him and to support him and to connect with him and to be in agreement with him, right? And so these three with him was probably what he thought was needed and deemed necessary for that assignment. So the company you keep, do you have people whom you can say, this 1, 2, 3, 4 people are the kind of people, if I'm going on a mission, I'm going on an assignment, or because we're called to different sectors, so they may not be even in my sector, but we agree with each other in principle that we have a certain way of thinking, a certain value system, a certain belief system. We're aligned in the perspective of how we see things, so that if any one of us is challenged in any way, physically, financially, spiritually, the challenges of life, you know that when you connect with these 1, 2, 3, 4 people, the conversation will always be, and it always serves to realign back or to order back everything to fulfill that God has laid in each of your lives. Do you get it? When you say, let's agree, they're not the people who are going to be mocking internally and saying, let's just agree because, we've tried to bring sense to him or to her, but she didn't get it. But let's just, for the sake of peace and comfort, let's just agree. The spirit does not lie. Physically, they can say that with their mouths, but the spirit is a crosswind. When you come into prayer, there's no agreement on that prayer. There's no agreement on the agreements that you're putting together, on the decisions you're making, on the commitments you make as a result of your conversations. So go and assess the company you keep and assess the company for each season. There is company that was relevant to the past season. there is company that's relevant to this current season. Because the assignments evolve, they move into different dimensions. There are still people who are in the past season and who are still relevant for this season. Take note of that. Not everybody is dropped, not everybody is exited. Some people remain steadily engaged in our assignments season after season after season. You know, there are people in your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. Truly, there are those people. Truly, there are people for a lifetime. They're just your life destiny partner for work, others obviously for marriage and things like that. Yeah. So in your company, God always sends you one or a number who are sound in their reasoning. They are voices of reason and they have wise counsel. They will point you to that way. You'll be able to hear from your spirit when they're speaking. This inside here is what I need to do. Even when you're ready to throw in the towel or you're facing a challenge or another, their voice is a voice that is sound. And God always gives us these people in our lives so that when the bigger waves, bigger number of voices are speaking contrary to what it is either God has led you to do or what it is that's going on in your life, they are the dissenting voices, those majority. But you have these people who have sound thinking. They have sound counsel. They can see into who you are, where you're going, and at every period, and their hearts are pure. They genuinely want good and they want, well for you. They wish you well. And this is rare. That's why this inner circle, whole Jesus, Son of God, God in the flesh, mighty, anointed, crowds and crowds and thousands were always following him. He had 12 disciples, but he had only three in his inner circle. So don't also be tempted to want popularity, to want crowds, to surround yourself with crowds. Some people, it works. Everybody has a different formula. However, don't be too caught up that, oh, the number has to be big so that you feel you're comfortable, you're loved, you're a good person or whatever. The number of people in your life is not an implication of whether you're a good person or not. Yeah. You need people who can believe with you. There can be a situation around you that is real. However, you need people who can tell you, yes, it's real, it's a fact, but this is the truth. Remember, God said, and even they hear God, so they can also bring in godly counsel to your life. You need people who can see beyond the problem. When Lazarus died, even when this Jairus' daughter died, and again you read in Luke chapter 7, 11 to 17, Jesus raised another widow's son. They were on the way to burying that son. There was a funeral procession, and Jesus' heart was filled with compassion, and he just called that son into life. I mean, he raised the dead, Lazarus, Jairus' daughter. Elijah, he raised the widow's son. Yeah, there's many examples. And you need people who can believe with you. Because in order to build successfully, we go forth. No one has guarantees of the future. Even the best plan can be thrown out of the window in just a twinkling of an eye. How many plans did the whole world have in December of 2019 and January? And suddenly, February, March, the whole world was hit with COVID-19. Suddenly, all the plans that people had, whether you had resources, teams, people, all the things, all the ducks were lined in a row. Those things just went out of the air. And things took a different dimension and shape. And crisis was flying here and there. And you need counsel as life is happening and hitting at us. You need those people who can believe with you, who can see the truth, and who can also validate that truth. even when facts are presented. Was it a fact that Jairus' daughter was dead? On the human level. Was it a fact that that widow's son was actually going to be buried? It was a funeral procession. He was dead. Was it a fact that Lazarus was dead? He was dead. It says he was 4 days already in the tomb when Jesus showed up. Dead. Was it a fact that the widow that Elijah stayed with, was it a fact that her son was dead? He was dead. But is death final? Is death really final? Jesus has proved that no, it's not. You could have a vision, a business, a family member, or even yourself going through a sickness or an illness that, I mean, you're just one step to the grave. People are saying she's already dead. This is just a matter of time. In another day or two, maybe even max 3 months, they'll be gone. This one is dead. Dead. The situation looks dead. There could be a marriage where even you yourself look at it, you're like, this thing is dead. Dead. It has no chance. It's dead. Dead on arrival. It's just dead. If nothing can be done, counselors, psychologists are just told you, in fact, just be on your exit path. Okay? But is death really final, even if it is a fact? The answer is no. Even in death, God still works. Right? Why couldn't Jairus' friends hope with him? Why couldn't they even decide to believe with him when Jesus said, no, she's only just sleeping? Why couldn't they even decide, for the sake of our friend, because here we are weeping, we didn't want this daughter to rise. Let's see what can be done, because there's always one more thing we can try. We believe with you. But all of them, they mocked and they spoke to Jesus, what come with Jairus? That, come on, be for real. This girl is dead. Let's move on. And if you're not careful, the voices of your company can kill a reality that was in motion. The projections and voices that your company releases can be able to put a stop of things God has already triggered into motion. So you, the builder, first of all, you have to be so independent thinking to connect with the Spirit of God and always go with what God is leading you to do. Right? Jairus said, I'm going to go for Jesus. I am going to look for Jesus. And even when he got there, there's someone saying, stop disturbing the teacher. I mean, your daughter is dead already, right? But he didn't stop. And Jesus could see his heart. And he told him, Jairus, don't be afraid. We'll be good. We're good. You need people like that who say, don't be afraid. I know there's all this resistance coming against you, but you'll be good. You'll be good. Because honestly speaking, we're no man's island. We need to walk with company. Yeah? We need to walk with company. And that company has to be good counsel. Okay? Company that believes with you when things in your life seem dead and gone. Maybe they seem empty. And so, if you want to test the fruit of the company that you're currently keeping, I want you to test your environment. Test your environment, test even how you feel throughout this just recent past. Do you always feel like you're in a negative space, discouraged space, negative? What are the narratives that are surrounding you today? Let's just be so honest as we do this exercise. And that will tell you the kind of people that you're hanging around. Because it's not to say that life won't have challenges, it's not to say things will not be bad. But you see people, if they even told you what they're going through, you'd be pitying them, saying, what? And then you look so good, you look so healthy, you look so, you don't look like somebody who's been suffering this illness or that, It's because their inner circle is a circle that breathes life. An inner circle you can sit and say, it's this, but tomorrow is a better day. Yeah, it doesn't matter how it looks like. Jesus said, by his stripes you're healed. So it's just a matter of time that you'll be healed. Keep going. And it gives you life, it gives you strength. It says, God says, that seek ye the kingdom of God. All the things that you're looking for, my friend, they will come. Keep at the vision. Keep at the vision. Oh, but I wish I really had a car. That's a good thing. But don't lose sight, because even that car is on its way. You understand? Interrogate how your environment is. Is it positive or negative? Just be honest with yourself. It'll tell you the kind of company you're keeping. People you sit for 3 hours, 6 hours, you're just talking about people. Hey, have you heard the latest? Oh, no, 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 no. Did you see what Jack did? What did he do? Ah, Jack, he was demoted. Oh, really? What happened to... These are the people that someone is talking about. This is a council of the wicked, the people who stand in the way of sinners, sitting in the company of mockers. And then when you come from that space, you're drained, you have not grown, you've only participated in bringing other people down or adding on to, words and stories of people's lives that are not even going to be benefiting you in any way. Bringing down people, those things drain. I have no patience whatsoever for that. It's so draining. When you sit and people just want to start talking about so-and-so, so-and-so, oh my goodness, imagine, somebody once joked and said that if you want to see the biggest, how Christians gossip, they come in the way of prayer, a prayer request or testimony. Prayer request or testimony, that's how Christians gossip, because they know the word of God, that, blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked or something. They know the word. So they know this is not what God desires, but now they can't help themselves. So in order to fulfill that desire to be speaking about people and mocking and all that, they come in the form of prayer requests and testimonies. They say, oh, let's pray for so-and-so. They say, then people have to ask, oh, okay, what's going on? Do you know that she has had issues with her husband? Every time he's beating her, every time. In fact, have you seen how she looks? Every time she wakes up, especially on Thursdays, when he comes late on Wednesdays, she has a black eye. Then people, and she hasn't decided to go. You see, you moved away from the prayer request. Even the prayer request is not even specific. It is being preceded by a story, the gossip, the mockery. These conversations, the counsel of the wicked is preceding these things. She's not left. Oh, imagine, I pity her. I don't know how people live in those kind of marriages. Oh, in fact, I know another lady. You know Jane? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even her, she's been... Now, before you know it, it's 3 hours. You guys were coming to pray. But right now, you're caught up in the way of sinners, in the company of mockers and gossipers. And then others' testimonies. Oh, there's a testimony. What is a testimony? Hey, do you know Nani has suffered this sickness for so long? And there was a time he couldn't even walk. Mucus was moving all from his nose, from his ears, from his eyes. Oh my goodness, he looked so bad. In fact, I have a photo. Let me show it to you. Are those things relevant? Focus on the testimony. He was so sick with a potential terminal. Keep the dignity of the person. Of what joy are you having in celebrating the unclothing and the nakedness of a fellow Christian like you in the name of your giving a testimony? Let God check us. And then over time, if that's a kind of company you're keeping, over time, that's a company you're desiring to have, because it has put a seed of maybe an addiction or a desire to gossip, to mock people, to compare ourselves to people, to gloat when people are going down, to be enjoying the downfall of people, the pain of people unconsciously. But that means the seed that you have is a seed that will continue to bring you down and fight your vision. It fights your vision, because what you'd rather be doing is surrounding yourself with wise counsel, like-minded people who are forward-thinking. Yes, you can also have fun. It's not like these people are boring. You can laugh and fun, but the intention is pure. The heart is pure. The visions are aligned. You laugh, you talk, you joke, you do things, but you always come to the point where you're driving agenda. You're driving the overall good for your family. They protect even your issues. You'll not hear them in the club, or you won't hear them, you're going to your health club, you enter and everybody's looking at you like, that's a man. Your company, the company you keep, must be a company that has integrity, and you be the same as well. You be the same. You be that company also for your people and your friends, the people you're called to, right? Be that embodiment of good company, so that collectively, you people are helping each other to grow positively, to grow mentally, to grow intellectually, to grow spiritually, to grow financially, to grow physically. People can tell you, we have to live long. We have long visions to fulfill. And if you're going to live long, this obesity that we are having is not going to work for us. We have to be healthy. But there are some people who just want to see people going into obesity, and before you know it, heart issues, health issues, they can't walk, they're dead. Vision has not been fulfilled. What kind of company are you keeping? Are you having company that has love? That you can joke and laugh in love and say, hey, you see, you're joking, but you're heading somewhere. Oh, yeah. Hey, I have to start walking. I really have to enroll. My exercise, my health is important. Yeah, it is. After 1 week, they're like, hey, John, did you pick up that thing? Do you need any help? I hear there's an app that can, whatever. And I'm praying for you. And, don't worry, you've got it. The company you keep determines how far you're going. The company you keep will protect you even when the world is bashing you. Because we'll have seasons. We have seasons when people are slandering us, they're rejecting us, they're resisting the call of God for life. And we've dealt it in the days that we've been preparing for this building season. We've dealt with these things as in the past couple of days. You'll be resisted if you're carrying light. Darkness will resist you. If you're called to bring forth God's agenda, the agenda that is in existence doesn't want to be uprooted, they'll resist you. And the backlash might be harsh. But the company you keep is going to be important, because other people will say, yeah, but what do you expect? They'll remind you when you have forgotten that, guess what, so you're a carrier of light. You're a carrier of light. What do you expect? Don't worry. That is expected, but he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. God has already promised us. He will never leave us. He's got you. Keep at it, you grow. You're back on the race. Do you understand? Yeah. So my prayer is that you really take stock of the company that you keep, and that you review it. You pray about the company that you need for this season, and that you just be honest with yourself. Even you yourself interrogate, what kind of company are you? Because maybe when you're the one who starts these stories and mockery and all that, may God help us to see these things, to have mercy on us, for us to repent, for us to turn back away from these things and to move forward, right? So let us look at these things and trust the Lord to guide and to help us, okay? So as we go into prayer, we're going to pray for our company. And we're also going to pray for ourselves. What company are we? Because we're not just looking and pointing out, we should also be pointing inward, right? Because we're somebody's company. And what are we bringing? Are we godly counsel? Are we the wise counsel? Or are we the mockers and these people who are wicked? We are the counsel of wickedness that people must exit from their spaces. Are we those ones? Let's interrogate these things, okay? So as we pray, let's keep that in mind. God bless you.